Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So right now, as we speak, Bernie Sanders is having a press conference. I'm going to go to the, not press conference, but he's having a workers town hall talking about Social Security, Medicare, etc., etc. But in this case, he's talking specifically about Medicare for all. So let's hear him talk to workers about Medicare for all. It's awesome. Love the fact that he did it. Pat Hacker, shout out for letting me know about this. I forgot all about this. So let's go to it.
And that is, so when we talk in America, we say, well, we got 30 million people who have zero health insurance. That's bad. But you got a whole lot of people in exactly Cynthia's position. They have health insurance. They don't use it because the deductibles and the co-payments are so high. All right, anybody else? Adriana, what do we need to you if you and your son guaranteed health care?
I think it would mean a healthier America, not just me, people would get their yearly checkups like we're supposed to. Their dentist every, 6 months, I believe. It would just mean, but you would take care of yourself. You would maybe feel better. It'd be incredible.
Okay, let me, again, I don't want to be too radical and suggest that maybe the United States of America might want to do what virtually, every other country, major country on earth is doing. But what would it mean, do you think, to your lives and the lives of your co-workers if we had 12 weeks of paid family and medical leave? What would it mean to you? That you could take time off of work, that when your kid got sick, you wouldn't have to worry about losing your job or losing wages. What is that about? What impact would that have in your lives? Heather, you want to jump into that one?
Sure. That would take a lot of stress off of me, especially being a mother of 4 children.
What happens now when your kids get sick?
Well, with my company, we have a point system. So if you call out for one day, you get 3 points. The next day is 4.
You get points for being sick?
Yes, you get points for being sick.
You're penalized for being sick?
Yes. So it's more or less, if you're sick less than 7 days, you get penalized. After the 7 days, you don't get penalized with a doctor's note. But not many of us can afford to be out 7 days of work. We don't get paid. So a lot of us will come into work sick, and which we work for an airline, which is, we could get all of you sick. So at the end of the day, we ended up in trouble.
Speaking of coming to work when you should not be coming to work, Adriana, what about McDonald's and sick time?
We do not have any sick days. So I'm most likely going to come into work sick because I can't afford to lose a day. So I'm working with food. Like she said, I'm probably going to get some of you guys sick. He yelled at me saying that I get him sick. So yeah, it's hard when you don't have any paid sick days. So if my son gets sick, I can take him to the doctor and they'll accept the doctor's note, but I still lost a day of wage.
All right, let's just take a deep breath and recognize how crazy this is. She deals with food every single day, right? Hundreds of people coming in and out. And I presume there are days there are people who are sick who are handling that food. I mean, what can we say? And you deal with people who are going all over the world, right? And if somebody has something that's contagious, that person will take it all over the country. Okay. On that cheerful note, let's go to another video.
While the rich are becoming much richer, we're seeing mom working and dad working, kids working incredible hours, and they still don't have enough money for basic family needs. And what we are saying today is that is going to change.
Be able to earn a living wage, not struggle with our everyday bills and rent, to know that we will be able to put food on our table at the end of the night.
If I was making $15 an hour, I'll be able to get up out of the shelter and get on my feet and get my own apartment.
Investing in associates means letting us take care of our children when they are sick and accepting our doctor notes Investing in associates means giving associates set schedules so we can plan our lives and be there for our families.
Corporate America understands that when workers become organized, when workers are able to engage in collective bargaining, they end up with far better wages and benefits than non-union workers.
A union would offer me protections at work that I do not have now.
Bring the minimum wage to $15 in the union. That's going to be a big incentive boost.
My message to Disney and to our CEO, we deserve the same magic back. Disney can afford it, and your cast deserves it.
Jeff Bezos should be a model for how to treat our employees and give people a leg up.
This is the wealthiest country in the history of the world. It is not a radical idea to say that if you work 40 hours a week, you should not be living in poverty. It is not a radical idea that in America we join the rest of the world with paid family and medical leave. When millions of us stand together, we are going to win. Nobody is going to stop us.
And actually, that's true. Because that is exactly what is happening all across this country. Now, if we were here 5 years ago, and I got up here, and I said, you know, I think we should raise the federal minimum wage from the starvation wage of $7.25 an hour, which is what it is right now, to $15 an hour, people would have said we were crazy, right? But you know what? All across the country, because of the wonderful work done by these, stand up, Good Jobs Nation, stand up, guys. Because of the great work done by them and by other organizations, an idea that seemed radical 5 years ago is no longer radical today. And not only do we have more and more co-sponsors on legislation that I've offered here in the Senate, is offered in the House, but what you are seeing are states and cities all across this country now passing legislation guaranteeing $15 an hour. And you know why they are doing it? They are doing it for all the reasons these guys talked about, and because the American people think that that makes sense. All right, let me throw it open to you guys. Talk to me. I know by definition you would not be here if you were not active, if you were not thinking about these issues. How do your coworkers, not every coworker, responds to what you are going through the same way. What are some of your coworkers thinking? What are their attitudes? Are they hopeful? Do they think we can make change? Who wants to talk about that? What's going on in the minds of some of your coworkers?
So I'll start. At my job, like I said, a lot of people are scared. They don't quite fully understand what a union is, so they just think, oh, union, they're gonna just take my money. And so I try to explain it to them, like, no, you work out a contract, you get paid sick days, you'll get vacation, like we don't have vacation, what's a vacation? So they'll be like, oh, okay, well, so I think it's more of trying to make them understand, and when they get frustrated, then that's when they'll come to you, and that's how I started my whole 515 thing.
Cynthia, what about workers in Walmart? Are they prepared to fight back, do you think?
Oh, yes. Walmart workers are prepared to fight back across the country. Our organization, we've joined hands across the country, and we're trying to change the way that the conditions are in our company, and especially 15 an hour, and that's low. We all know that if we had still continued with the minimum wage, it would be like $21.50 right now an hour. So we are way below that. And it has to change. And the only way that we can change that is if we all continue to join hands and stand up across the country. We need Walmart to continue to start giving these workers full-time hours. What can I do with 1 day a week at $15 an hour? Nothing. So we are going to continue to stand for 15 full-time schedules, and we want harassment to stop for all workers across the country.
Artemis, how are the workers feeling in Disneyland?
I think overall we have more fire in us this contract negotiation than we've had in a long time. A lot of my coworkers have looked at Disney as like a Goliath that they couldn't even be a David to for a very long time. But over this past contract negotiation, which has been going on for about 6 to 8 months now, or well, the negotiation's been going on for 2 months, and we've been preparing for it for 6 months. We've gotten more support, and we've gotten more fire out of the members than I've seen in a very long time. We have a hunger strike coming up next week, starting the 24th, I believe, on a Tuesday, for 4 days. And since I announced that I'll be doing that with a few other members, we've gotten so much support. We have annual pass holders who are going to sit with us for at least 1 day in solidarity and fast with us. And it's just, we've come together in a way that we haven't seen in a long time.
And you guys have worked on a ballot item for Anaheim. Can you say a word about that one?
There is a living wage initiative right now that's being pushed by a coalition of unions that my union is a part of. It starts at $15. If it were to pass in November, it would start at $15 in January of 2019, and over 4 years work its way up to a living wage in Orange County, which is about $18 an hour.
Now, what's interesting about Anaheim, it's not just that Disney and the other big companies there get federal tax breaks. They also have managed to get enormous tax breaks from the city itself. Is that right?
From what I understand, over the last 10 years, they've gotten roughly $1 billion in tax breaks, and they managed to get a tax, they managed to stop a gate tax from being passed that would have brought in about $1 billion over the next 30 years, I think it is. My numbers might be a little off, but it's close to that. That would have put money into the city for over 30 years, and instead that $1 billion is going to build Star Wars Land, which they were gonna build whether they got that tax break or not. And they create these tax breaks so that they can create jobs, good paying jobs. And while the construction jobs that they create are good paying jobs, those jobs last for a certain amount of time, and then it's the jobs like mine, the low-wage jobs that are long-term jobs, and the low-wage cast members like myself, we are the ones who live in the community or want to live in the community, and we can't afford to live. We might be renting a room or an apartment, but we're not living in the community right now.
Seth, did you want to add to that discussion? What was your impression of the consciousness of workers in Amazon where you were there?
My impression is that, kind of mimicking something that was said earlier, is that we're not an isolated incident. And while my story, I had the luxury of a second job so I could quit to afford myself, the mental health break that I needed. There are people who...
Okay, I'm not being offensive or anything like that. I can't hear any of these people. I can't hear any of these people even on my own thing. So I can only hear Bernie Sanders, which is nice, but it's kind of difficult to hear. So I am going to do a different video. Yeah, I'm going to do a different video. Look, here's one thing before I end this. I like Sanders doing this. Sanders going around the world, going around the country, having these sessions. I think part of the good thing about having these sessions is because it brings real people to talk about the issues that affect real people. I love that. earthing in where if I can hear it, but I had to turn it way up. The audio is shitty on multiple streams. Yeah, I can't hear it. The main stream, the audio is so low that you can barely tweak out what's being said. I can hear Bernie Sanders. My volume is turned all the way up to the top. And that's the best that it gets. Yeah, that's the best thing it gets. So I'm going to end this. Let me end it with this though. Let me end and give positive words to Sanders when I don't get the opportunity to say positive words all that often in our political space. This is good. This is good. Do you know part of the strength of unions has to do with this idea of people realizing they're not alone? Like, it's not just, yes, this organized body assists in getting things done. It's also an individual seeing themselves in the face of somebody else and realizing that their space, they're not alone. That this person is experiencing similar things than this other person, that they're not atomized, that they're out, or they are united in this. Part of Sanders doing this gets people to see there are other people who have similar ideas, who have difficulties just like us. There are other people around the world who have solved those things in a myriad of ways. Why haven't we solved these issues? Or at the very least, why haven't even we come close to somewhat assisting in the solving of these issues in real terms? Sanders, doing these things, shitty audio aside, gets across this idea that people are not alone. That's part of the benefits of this. That's part of the reason why I love this. It's part of the reason why I'm so in the bag for this idea of Ocasio-Cortez calling herself a socialist and jumping around the country with the moniker of socialist. That's why I like the idea of Sanders calling himself a socialist, jumping around the country with the idea of a moniker of a socialist. Hey, that guy doesn't have horns or a tail. And I like my kid being able to go to school without being buried $50,000 in debt. I like being able to get health care. If me or my kid gets ill, I like those things. Did you hear that first woman? She was talking about healthcare. The woman who says she pays $90. Say it's not $90. Say your copay is $25. Let's take that case. Say with the copay of $25, you have a kid that's ill. Let's say it's persistent illness. Let's say it's chronic. How many of those $25 are you going to get hit with before that's something substantial into your wallet? Let's say you get paid $12, $13 an hour, and you're getting hit persistently with a $25 bill because your kid is ill. Say that kid who has to pay, let's say he has to go to the hospital twice that week, $25 a pop each. Let's say you also have to pay for some kind of medication. Let's say that medication has a $10 and another $25 copay. You may end up paying $100 for that week. And that doesn't get across to if that person gets sick. That doesn't get across to maybe a persistent case where the kid have to keep going back over and over and over again. Obamacare is not it's not the solution. That's my point. And what these people are saying, even if they did have health care, even if that copay wasn't $90, you could lose your job. Do you know my mom almost lost her job? When I was a kid, I was in high school. I get ill, and my mom is off consistently and over and over and over again. Not because she wants to be off. Her record for going to work was fucking amazing. No, she didn't start going off the rails until her kid got sick, and her kid was in a hospital, and she ended up going to the hospital every evening over and over and over again, in days where their surgeries stay. Her job tells her one day, we will essentially fire you if you continue to have to take time off. They thought, when they found out that her kid was ill, now here's the catch. It doesn't matter whether they knew her kid was ill. She told them that her kid was ill. They told them that there were medical issues, and they were going to fire her anyway. They're going to fire her anyway. What these people are standing up for and what they're saying is real world reality that these people end up going through on a daily basis. That is a picture of America, ladies and gentlemen. And the idea that you can be fired because you're ill, or that you're paying co-pays that are ungodly, or even insurance payments that are ungodly. If you had a family, say for the example, you were on your healthcare plan with a family, my wife and I, $60 for healthcare. $260 for healthcare. Imagine if we had a kid. Imagine if we had a kid. What Sanders is showing here, all of these people, that is a picture of America. And that is a picture of America that doesn't need to be that way. That's a picture of America that is, for various reasons, whether you want to call it drug companies, whether you want to call it a capitalist class that doesn't necessarily want to change the order of things, whether you want to call it a population that for the most part has gotten used to the way things are and doesn't realize that it could be different, that they could have a different world. Whatever you want to call it, it's a picture of America. Doesn't have to be that way. It can change. And whatever you want to say about Sanders, him jumping around the country, having these town halls, showing this, saying, look at the pain that's ensconced in your society. Why are you okay with this? And certainly, this can be different. So, I personally think the Sanders town halls are an amazing idea. I think getting across what the country looks like, the pain that people are feeling, and the difference that can be in the country. Meaning, this doesn't have to be this way. It's good. Fix your sound system. And I understand the irony of me saying it, saying as I've had audio sounds where people complain about audio issues. But I can't hear any of these people, Bernie Sanders. I mean, they're still talking right now. Let's see. Let's jump in for a moment, see if we can hear them. Nope. And this is turned to the max. This is turned to the max. So, he said I'm semi-young. I heard that part. Barely. So I'm going to end this. I may be back in a few. There's another story I want to do. Theresa May capitulated to Rees-Mogg. Theresa May capitulated to Rees-Mogg. So I do want to talk about the capitulation itself, but that's probably going to be the last one for tonight because I'm starting to run on E. So you all have a good one, and I will see you guys probably in 10-15 minutes. Thanks, guys.